Hey, I'm back, and this is my second video. It's been really hard to find time to make these videos, though I have a bunch of time on my hands, so not really sure why. Again, I think it's a lighting issue, and I never have makeup on, and people are always in the house, but I'm back. So, what has happened in the past week? In the past week-ish, a bunch has happened. We found out the gender of our baby, and she's a girl. We were in Colorado for a wedding. Harrison wasn't with us, and we had a bakery in Boulder put pink or blue, like receive the information on the gender, or sex rather, and put it in the cupcake, and then we were with our family over dinner, and we opened the cupcakes, and it was light cream? I don't know. It was like a cream color. It definitely wasn't blue, so therefore it was pink. And I knew right away, but I had really thought I'd have two boys. Like I wanted a boy and a girl, and I talked myself out of wanting a girl. We have all the boy stuff. The girl when she's a teen is gonna be just crazy. I know it. Girls grow up so fast now, like even faster than before. They're teenagers, right? They're like teenagers when they're 3. So I don't want that. My son Harrison is like such a mush, and I feel like he's gonna be a mama's boy for a long time. And this girl I know is gonna push me away, and it's gonna hurt. So I was just, again, thinking about the future and getting all in my head. But I truly, truly am so excited, to have one of each, which is so silly, but I think it is a different experience to have a boy and to have a girl. And I have an older brother, and I think there's less competition. I mean, you could slice and dice it whatever way you want. I also think having two of the same sex is really nice for their bonding. Like two brothers become really close. Two sisters seem to be very, very close, out of the high school years. You have to go through that competition and like stealing each other's clothes and all that stuff. But after you move past that, it seems to be a really, really nice bond. But it's how you raise your kids. I think Harrison and his sister-to-be are going to be buds. Harrison knows that there is a sister in my belly. He's really, really excited, and that makes me really happy. So we found out the gender. We went up to like 12,000 feet in Colorado, which, was hard to breathe. I was also wearing the dress from my after party from the wedding, so it was like tight and made me look pregnant no matter what, so that was good. We also got to tell friends and family after we found the gender. I was 12 weeks, and I let my mom kind of go wild, and it was maybe the first, but definitely at least the second thing she said to everyone who she hasn't seen in, I don't know, years. So like, hey, how are you? Oh, did you know Allison's pregnant? So that was funny. Before I could even get to people, they congratulated me. So slowly we're telling more people. I told some people at work, which was really fun. There's still like that dance between, so we know the gender. I'm at like 13 weeks, and it's getting really real. We got genetic testing back. Everything is great. We're waiting for one more test. But I don't know, this time around, I'm more scared. Like I just know of more things that can happen and that have happened to people I know, which I think is good that people are more out about it, but it definitely like plants a seed in your head. So I'm a little bit more cautious, but like I'm a person who likes to celebrate versus, hide. Especially I feel like I'm getting some kind of bloated belly thing. Everything still fits, but fits a little differently, and things are riding up a little bit more. I'm definitely not comfortable. I think I mentioned during my first video that I'm nauseous, and not like vomiting nauseous, but like feeling woozy. I need to constantly eat, and there's a really thin line between I need to eat and like I'm so hungry I can't even think about food, like someone put food in my mouth but everything doesn't sound good, but I need protein. I actually got a headache for the first time in maybe years on Saturday because I was pancakes. I ate pancakes. I probably ate some bread product. I had probably like chocolate, who knows, like all crappity crap stuff. And I had no real nutrients, and my head started to hurt, and it was hot, and I probably wasn't drinking enough water because I need to drink so much water. So I got a headache and I needed protein. And as soon as I had protein, I felt better. So that is a reminder that I need to take better care of myself, which I actually had a talk with my husband about how, like, we are pregnant, right? Like we are pregnant. My body is doing all the stuff, and I need him, even though he's wonderful and he does remind me to drink, but it's more of like, hey, did you drink water from far away? And I'm, with my son and doing things. I'm like, no, and I mean to drink water, but I never get there. So we had a talk about, I need you to take care of me more, though he does. And these, not even fights, but like discussions always are the same, where I cautiously am like, listen, I need more. And he's like, I do a lot. And I agree. But the more, I think he feels like I'm not recognizing what he does do, which is a lot. But again, it doesn't mean that you can't do more or more isn't needed. So we've run into these arguments in the past, especially when Harrison was born and I was breastfeeding, and most of the physical exertion is on the mother. You're feeding every 2 hours, which means, and Harrison took 30 to 40 minutes to feed. So you start feeding and then you need to feed in like an hour. It just like the time melts away and you think you're gonna eat soon and you don't, and then you're hungry and it affects your milk supply. And again, so like the mother's load, there's a lot to do, and I think you need like a bunch of people around you helping you, because also my brain was totally messed up. Like I had very bad short-term memory, and I was getting a bunch of anxiety just with that mental load, like the list of things that needed to be done. And I didn't write them down, and it was something that came innate to me that I just knew had to be done, and I wish it also was innate to my partner. And for some reason, I don't think that happens. A lot of the time the woman is the one to know about the child's development, what clothes they need, what they need to be eating, like kind of puts them on the right track in a way. And what Jeff, my husband, and I found really helpful was to sit down and basically list out everything. We took a night and we were like, okay, Harrison's clothes you need to go through the clothes every 3 months to weed out things that don't fit. Or we need to think about what toys he should be playing with, or what development milestones he should be hitting, or what questions to ask the doctor, or does he need play dates, or what are we gonna do when he's 2.5 or 3? Do we go to public pre-K? Do we keep our nanny? All these things, again, you don't need to think so in advance, but at least we know we live in Jersey City. It's right next to New York City. It's hard. There are wait lists. Spots run out. I've already run up against that. We were trying to put him in a drop-off program 1 day a week, and this was like March, and it was going to be for September, and spots ran out. Or like you have to apply for your 2-year-old and write essays about why they're so smart and articulate. They're not even talking, and they need to go in for an interview. Harrison is wonderful some days. Like I look at him and I think, you are a genius. And there are other days where I'm just like, ooh, are you okay? Like, are you going through something? Just like anyone, just like myself. Like, we all have on and off days. So that's interesting. We also came back and we went to the high-risk doctor who's affiliated with my midwife practice, who was at my birth, who was at Harrison's birth. And I was checked for my cervix because I'm going to get a cerclage this time, same as I did with my first pregnancy, but I'm going to get it a lot earlier. So I got my cerclage at 23 weeks with Harrison, and it was kind of like an emergency, not like check it and go to the hospital, but check it, recheck it, book the hospital for the next day kind of thing. And that was shocking because I had been totally normal, everything was fine, and then it was like, oh my God, I need a procedure, I need an epidural. Like I'd never been to the hospital. I've never had a broken bone. I've never had anything like that. So I wasn't mentally prepared. And even though now, like my voice is trembling, even though now that I'm mentally prepared, it's still scary. So I'm gonna be getting my cerclage, which is a cervical stitch. They call it like a purse strings. So think like a bucket bag, and they go all around and then they pull it. So it's really tight. So no babies coming out of there, which is great for me. And it's reassuring. I think, even if I didn't need it and I would go on bed rest and just limit myself, I'll have a lot less anxiety and stress over thinking something's going to go wrong, knowing that Harrison came 3 weeks early. And my midwife already has been like, you might want to get induced for this pregnancy, when it's time, because if you want an epidural, if I want an epidural, she's thinking I might not make it to the hospital. I might go that fast. And that's scary to think about. I'm going to have an unmedicated birth, which I'm a person who doesn't like pain. I probably got the epidural when I was maybe 5 to 7 centimeters. I got to the hospital when I was 5 and my water had broken. And I just remember begging my husband, like hanging on him and just saying, Jeff. Like I couldn't even get out the words of what kind of pain. And I can't even remember because it's not a sensation I've ever had before. And those weren't even the bad ones. So even if, this little girl is happy and healthy and all that good stuff and is full term, which is the goal, like 37 weeks, I would really like 37 and a half, 38 weeks, because as I said, Harrison ended up in the NICU and I really can't do that again. I really don't want to end up there again. So just a lot to think about. Just having to go to a hospital, get an epidural. My body is not the same as it was, or it's not in the same place. I have a toddler. I generally have, like a little bit of back pain. So knowing the epidural, and last time my back hurt a bunch after that, and even with Harrison after I gave birth, I was limping for a while. Like I kind of blocked it out because there's so much else going on in those first few months, then what's happening to your body as a mother is almost secondary, right? Like I remember breastfeeding because it had to do with my child, but how my body reacted and like what was going on was, just like kind of grin and bear it. And like eventually everything melted away and I was fine. I went to physical therapy, I went to a chiropractor for a while, and that all helped. So I'm going to try to be a little bit more on top of it, maybe even during pregnancy. I need to book a massage, a prenatal massage, because everything kind of feels achy. Don't know why. So that's the big stuff. Yeah, so in a week is the cerclage, telling more people at work, trying to think about if I'm going to borrow clothes. Hopefully, I feel like after your first pregnancy, like you should never have to buy clothes anymore. I don't think it's worth it. I want like all your used stuff, like send it to me. I'm trying to give away. I went through Harrison's clothes and I was stretching unisex. Like, I don't know, is this cowboy shirt that is purple and gray, can that be unisex? It probably can. I mean, when your child doesn't put up a fight about what they wear, I really think you should put them in anything, even if it's stained. Like, I'm very loose about stuff. If it's clean, yes. If it's stained and clean, that's fine too. So just thinking through that, I'm excited to buy girl stuff. I really am. So I'm kind of holding back because there's a lot of cute stuff. I had no excitement about boys' clothes, and I have true excitement about girl stuff, but also not wanting her to be overly girly, though I think all that happens. I didn't give Harrison trucks and quoting stereotypically boy stuff, and he was just really attracted to it. So now he wears fire truck t-shirts and he loves tunnels and cars and trucks and all that stuff. So I think part of it is just innate. So who knows what this girly girl is going to be like. But Harrison's going to be an awesome big brother. So I'm really stoked about that. And that's it. Trucking along, trying to do well at my job, do well as a wife, do well as a mom. And hoping Harrison maybe gets a little less attached in the coming weeks, because it's been a little tough. He was away from us with his grandparents while we were in Colorado. He came back and he's just like on me, which I love, and he's so sweet, and he just wants me to read him books and carry him from room to room, though he's beyond capable of transporting himself. So that'll be interesting. I've been telling my husband to be like more fun. I don't know, he's pretty fun. But Harrison, when he wakes up, he wants me. And once he wants me and I'm there, he's on me, right? So it's not just like he wants to know I'm watching him. It's like I'm definitely preferred. So that's gonna be tough. I don't want him to be that jealous. So I'm hoping to, set some boundaries. Though it's hard because truthfully, I love him and I want to be with him too. So till next time, I'm going to make a video, maybe post or collage, because that's, you know, a really big thing that's going to happen. And I do want to share a lot about it. I met a girl at the park yesterday who said she went at 37 weeks, and I'm almost like, why? You know, like maybe there's something going on with your cervix, though I'm sure a lot of OBs and midwives are very capable. But it's a scary thing. I keep saying like, this kid, haha, is just gonna fall out, but that's terrible because I don't want that to happen. They can like fall out once I've had an epidural at 37.5 weeks and I'm at a hospital. That is cool. But anything other than that, I really don't want. I'm just like, oh, giving birth again. And having a baby, we visited a friend, a really close friend of Jeff's, and now, you know, myself as well. And the baby's 3 weeks. And I had a bunch of feelings, like flashbacks and I don't want to go back to that time, you know, like I want the baby, but I want the baby when the baby's a little bit older. That, you know, up every night, every 2 hours, like survival mode is really hard. It's almost like punishment, you know, and you're just like waiting for the days to pass and the months to pass till it gets good. And for me, it got pretty okay at 3 months. 3 months, I was okay. My wrist has also been really hurting me. So I have Quervains, which was a post-pregnancy thing. And basically it's like your tendons inflamed. So when you're holding a baby all the time and your wrists are bent like this, it puts tremendous strain. You're breastfeeding, you're probably massaging your breast with one hand, just holding, and the baby, you know, is like 13 pounds or something, but it still has a lot of pressure. And as a result, and I didn't even know this, I just wore a brace for a while, hoping it'd go away. It's called mommy's wrist. And it didn't, and then it actually got to my other wrist, and I got 2 cortisone shots, one in each wrist, like 5 months after Harrison was born. And that helped, but then it came back, and then it transferred to my other wrist. I was sleeping with braces on both my wrists for probably a year. And now my right hand is back, and it's probably just, you know, it's my dominant hand, so I use to support most of Harrison's weight. And I'm just scared that, you know, this little girl's gonna come and it's gonna flare up big time again. And I probably should have gotten a procedure to like cut the sheath around the tendon, but it takes weeks of not having to lift things. And I'm, again, constantly lifting my kid. And now I'm pregnant, so I can't have it. Like a doctor won't do local and just do it. So probably gonna have to wait. And for now, can't really take anything, right? Like I can just ice it and massage it, which is what I've been doing, but it's not going anywhere. So those are my aches and pains and worries and anxieties, and more to come next week when I will be 13 and a half or 14 weeks. I'm like on the cusp, so it's hard to remember, so I keep rounding up, but see you then. Bye.